You know, you don't find your voice in stand-up until you've been doing it for like 7 to 9 years. I was like so young. My point of view changed so much. So I did it. I got to LA. I started working at the Comedy Store as a doorman. I got the runner job at the Comedy Store, and I ran into, hung out with Kinison. I went on the road with Kinison, Sam Kinison. I was wound up being one of the outlaws of comedy. I toured with Sam for about 5 years.
This is Cooper's Comedy Corner. Buckle up because it's funny as Cooper's Comedy Corner.
Welcome, people, to Coop's Comedy Corner. This is the first episode of my brand new show coming here from Comedy Trainwreck. Thank you to Jimmy Corhan. Every week I'll be having working comedians, national headlining comedians, comedians who have acted, comedians who have written for TV. And this week is no different. This guy, it's funny, years ago, I met him. He's from Philly, but I remember in LA when I was moving back to New Jersey, I put on Facebook, I had a Tony Gaza action figure. And Tony Gaza was the loan shark from Rocky. And all of a sudden, I get a call, and it's him. He's going, Coop, I want the Gaza. So he comes over, he gets the Gaza, but the fucker brings me an $8 check. Now I'm about to move across country, and he gives me a check. But he's got the Gaza, and it's funny. I was talking to Mark Riccadonna. We did a show a few weeks ago. We were talking about my guest. And someone says, well, what's his act like? And Mark said, if you sat there and winded him up all day, and then you just let him go on stage, that's what it is. He's one of the funniest headliners out there. It's Mr. Jimmy Shubert. What's up, Shub?
Hey, Coop, what's up, brother? I didn't mean to bring you an $8 fucking check. Or that's just, that's hilarious. Did it bounce? No.
Yeah.
But I still that fucking Gaza, the Tony Gaza, the action figure is up on the thing right next to my Jack Bauer and my Houdini action figure, believe it or not. I'm not really an action figure nerd, but I like those. I mean, it was such a fucking bizarre action figure. I had to get it.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, your Instagram. It's funny. Me and my wife, Joanne, I always show her your clips, and she always cracks up. But I saw a clip yesterday about a new special coming out called Clown Shoes. Tell me all about it, because you always put on specials. And as I said, you crush when you're stage. Tell me about the new special coming out. When's it coming out? What we can expect?
Okay, well, it's probably about a month out, maybe a month and a half out. We just finished the editing credits. I shot it last year in Phoenix. It's an hour of comedy, all new material. And followed by an album. So it's called Clown Shoes because I said getting through life today. One of the lines in my act or the new special is getting through a life, like leaving your house and getting home in time for dinner. It's like walking through a minefield in fucking clown shoes. You know what I mean? Like with those it's like walking through a minefield in clown shoes was the idea, the concept. Just how ridiculous everything has become in life. I mean, everything. It's like, the things have gotten sillier and sillier and more ridiculous on top of ridiculous. It's when you think could get any more ridiculous, it gets more ridiculous. And so that's essentially the premise is life is very much like walking through a minefield in clown shoes, and you try not to become a statistic. You try not to become, wind up in a body bag. You're just trying to get through life.
Now, how long does it take you to write an hour special? Because you've been doing this for a long time and you have a lot of specials. And there's something that when you're doing a special, even if you have that charmed bit, man, I did a stupid Jerry Lewis singing Jimi Hendrix Foxy Lady bit, and it's stupid, but everyone's like, do it. And I've never had a special, but for you is when you're recording a special, can you creep any old stuff in there, or is it all just a straight up new hour when you hit the stage?
That's a great question. So what I do is I look at what all the previous specials, and I look what I thought was like, because some of these bits go on to evolve and develop into another 5 or 7 minutes. And initially you did one on Comedy Central, and it was just that. And then, but now you look, that I don't think that really kind of got a fair shake. So maybe I'll dust off one or two, but mostly it's all new stuff, and look, if it takes a year to develop it, it takes a year to develop it. If it takes 2 years to develop it, I'm not going to rush the material. Believe me, one of the things is, and I think everybody's guilty of it. There's all this pressure to come up with a new hour, a new hour, a new hour. Hey, you know what? Fuck you. It'll be ready when it's ready, when I feel it's ready, because I'm the guy doing it. But everybody puts this pressure on you, and everybody's doing a new hour. But I don't care who you are. I mean, you look at Carlin. I mean, Carlin was a content monster. The guy did 14 HBO specials, 22 albums, 8 books. I mean, he was a content monster. I don't think you'll ever see anybody hit that level of production. I mean, that are as good as Carlin's specials were. I mean, even his older stuff where he rants off and goes off and he's old man, he didn't give a fuck anymore. I thought a lot of people don't like it, but I love that shit. I mean, the guy was way ahead of his time, because you look at those bits now and they're still relevant. And he was right about the elite ruling class and all this stuff, and they don't give a fuck about you. And he was right. He did those bits. That was 20 years ago, and they're still spot on. He was, I mean, for me, Carlin was the king. But I think when you get it, first off, I think about a theme. I think about a theme to the hour. What's going to be the theme of the hour? And then I start to look at what I got, and I go over old notes. And there's some bits that I wrote that I don't think I get that I never did on stage. I go, I really should probably work on this and do this. And I'm always writing. I got a notebook. I'm always writing. I'm always working on something during the day. I jot stuff down. I have a file on my internet. Like, I look at news stories and I put them in a folder. I go, let me go read back and revisit that. And I start to think about it. And then they just start to take form. You see stuff that's just so fucking ridiculous. And again, when I've been doing this a long time, but when I was doing this, it was a lot of fun. You could really make fun of a lot of stuff. And now, because of cancel culture, you have to be very clever on your wording. You have to be real clever on the wording, so as to not to,
But how does, that's what's crazy. You think about it. Now, you seem like your writing is very methodical. Like me, something will pop in my head and I'll put it down. Okay, that's how I write. But I should have. I'm not disciplined. But for you, because you've been doing your act, and as Rick Adonna hits, and it's true, you come out with energy. It's like, I've seen you many times. Does it not bother you? I mean, it bothers you. But how do you sit there and when you come out with what you think is this bit, and then all of a sudden you think, oh man, one word, and I'm gonna get a ton of shit. How do you change that? You pull out like a thesaurus, like, oh, what sounds like douchebag, or what do you mean? How do you change that when you get that passage and you're on a flow? But as you said, sometimes you have to watch what you say. A word can get you in trouble. How do you change it up?
It's a word. It's an inflection. What's the most eloquent way I can say this? The vocabulary is my toolbox. And I was talking with Larry Reeb, Uncle Larry Reeb out of Chicago. And Larry said, I write a new joke. I want to say, try and get a laugh. He goes, and then I take one word out every single night after that till it doesn't get a laugh. I put that word back in and I'm done. Like the bit that, like I, talk about word efficiency, or the way you got to put a paragraph in the sentence. It's also a rhythm to it. Like, and it's also like, I was at the comedy mothership and I heard Joe talking about like Doug Stanhope. Like you argue for, like when you present a bit, you argue both sides of it, like a prosecuting attorney or a defense attorney, like to find holes in your argument. Or like if you're for it and the audience is against it, then you go, I know what you people are thinking. And then you go and present the counter argument to the bit you're talking about. You know what I mean? So you kind of do it from both sides. It actually gives you more material. There's nothing that drives me more insane, which I think is a great way to approach it, but nothing drives me crazier than watching a guy do one joke about something and I go, and then he's off to the next joke. There's 10 more jokes there. There's 10 more. That's a great premise. There's 10 more freaking jokes there if you thought about it. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess everybody has their process, but there's things I don't talk about on stage. There's things I won't do on stage, but I just find the ridiculousness of everyday life, just in the mundane. I mean, and all my bits are 10 minutes. They're 10-minute bits. I got a 15-minute therapy cat bit that goes from airport security to getting on the plane. There's some lady getting on the plane with a freaking therapy animal. And then all the stuff involved in that and the people that bring on therapy. The lady got thrown off for a pig and a guy, what's next? Somebody's going to show up with a fish aquarium. And I just really go over. I developed bits for 2 years. I worked on bits for 2 years. So what's the best way to say that? What's the most eloquent way? And what's the best way to present it? Because you want to talk in a way that people enjoy listening to you. I've always felt weird because I never went to college. So I never wanted to sound like I was uneducated. I always wanted to have a grasp of the vocabulary. And I don't care. Like I want to make people laugh and think at the same time. You know what I mean? I prefer to work to the top of my intelligence. I like that. I mean, I do a yogurt bit. It's Greek. What's with all the fucking yogurt? I mean, it's taken over the whole dairy section. Butter and margarine in the corner going, we used to run the dairy section. Now you got all these foreigners moving in with their bacteria. I mean, what's just so great about Greek yogurt? What's in that little plastic container? What is it? Ouzo and milk and a didactic lecture on the perils of an under-intellectualized democracy? Hey, Greece, do me a favor. Get your unemployment rate below 87% before you worry about the amount of probiotics in my lower GI. Here's an idea, Greece. Why don't you get your shit together before you worry about you're doing a socio-geoeconomic political bit in the middle of the dairy section of a supermarket. Really, essentially, it's what it is. So I love that writing, man. I mean, for me, 80% of the work I do is on the page. And then I go up and play with it on stage and find the rhythm of it and stuff like that. So that's my process. I'd like to be, because it's so wordy, you have to have a firm grasp of it before you go on stage. And then I'll go on stage and play with it after I have it memorized, or maybe I'll shift it around a little bit or whatever,
How often does it happen that, as you said, a bit will take 2 years, sometimes a bit a year, but you cultivate this bit, and you get this bit and you think it's great, and you're cultivating it. Has it ever happened, or does it, probably has happened before, but has there been a bit where you just thought you worked on it, you crafted it, it's funny, and it just ate shit?
Well, no, because if I go do it like 4 or 5 times and it gets nothing, then I'm not going to waste time developing it, because I tried it. I gave it the old college try. I may throw it back in. But this like this, you write all these ideas, these non sequiturs, these funny thoughts, these things, and you go, where does that fit into the act? Where can I use that? And sometimes you never find a place, and then sometimes you go, I'll put that there. Or the idea, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a friend who used to be a former stand-up, and we were talking about who decides who gets tipped. Like, everybody wants to get fucking tipped now. Who's deciding who gets tipped? And how come we don't tip stewardesses on airplanes? They deserve it. I mean, they bring you drinks. They deserve it. Don't they get tipped? I mean, these people are just going to ask you a few questions. Yeah, like how much I want to fucking tip you. I ordered a package online, and they go, this is what your things would be. Do you want to tip the people packing? I go, no, you made me a cup of fucking coffee. I mean, I go to a restaurant, and the service is exceptional. You'll get a 20% tip every single fucking time, because I'm sitting there. You're waiting on me. You're bringing me drinks. But I'm not tipping you for a cup of coffee. It's a regular cup of coffee. I mean, whatever. I got change and throw it in the cup, whatever. I'm not. You're doing your job. It's not. This interaction took.
And they always try to make you feel bad. It's like the old, here's the best though, when you go to a restaurant, and I always tip well, but when they walk up and they try to be smug, the waiter, I've waited tables, so I know what it's like. But they sit there and they go, oh, would you like bottled water or the regular tap? Like, it makes you sound like some cheap asshole, and you're like, dude, just give me regular water. And that right then it knocks their tip down, because they're sitting there making me feel cheap because I don't want to order bottled water.
Yeah, well, it's like the people who yelp. It's like, did you go to culinary school? You ever work in the food industry? Then shut the fuck up. Nobody really needs your Yelp, you entitled fucking asshole. Your garbage disposal eats better than 40% of the people in the free world. Where do you get off fucking criticizing? It's a French fry, fucking Kathy. You got to write a fucking 6 paragraphs on why nobody should ever go to a restaurant because you had a soggy fucking French fry. I mean, it's the entitlement. Like, I just come back from the Philippines. I was over there on vacation. And I have to tell you, it's a really poor country. These people, I mean, it's mind-boggling how much poverty you see. People live in like square cinder block boxes with tin roofs, and they sleep like, 7 or 8 people to a room. It's really breaks your heart, because I don't think the Philippines it should not be like that. They should be a wealthy country, but obviously the wealth doesn't filter down to the everyday person. These people work all day long for what you make. Like they work for like equivalent of 8 hours a day, whatever it is, for like $24 a day. Like it's ridiculous. I mean, it really elevates my sense of gratitude. I tell people all the time, I said, the only people that hate America are people who have never been outside it. Because, you are so, I call it the sacred geometry of chance, because for the grace of God, you could be born in the Philippines. And if you're born in the Philippines, you don't have this fucking life. If you're born in India, I was with Russell Peters. I was over there touring with Russell, who's like Elvis. And his brother said, if you think me and Russell are born here, you think we have this life, we don't have this life. And it's interesting because you go to the slums of Calcutta and they wouldn't try to rob you. I mean, it's a very poor country, but they don't have that element in their culture, nor do I'm sure you can find it some places, but nor do they have it in Asian cultures either. Some places I'm sure you could find it, but as a rule, it's not in the culture. It's not in the Philippine culture. It's not in the Indian culture. And they're really poor countries, but they would never rob you. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously exceptions to every rule, but and here you are in America, you got $1,000 iPhone in your pocket, and $300 fucking sneakers. You live in the suburbs with your mommy and daddy who work multiple jobs to put you and give you this charmed life that you have. And you do nothing but bitch and fucking complain. You should get down on the ground and kiss the ground you walk on. Because I'm telling you, it's not even a joke. Because you should be very grateful that you live here, and you should take none of it for granted, because it could all go away tomorrow if you're not careful.
Well, it's funny about that when you say it. I know this woman who was a retired teacher. Okay, she thinks she's going to live with her husband and her 2 kids. Her father dies, so she decides she's going to go away for a month. She ends up in Madagascar.
Okay? Right.
Ends up in this little village. The kids walk an hour to get water.
Okay? Yeah.
So she started a charity, a nonprofit called Philwell. So she goes back there, and she was taking all these donations, and Joanne gave her 2 dresses to take. 2 dresses that she wore, didn't want anymore. The girls sent us pictures back of 2 young girls, probably 14 and 16, in a village with these dresses and just beaming. And that's like what you say. But over here, people be like, I don't want any hand-me-downs. To them, it's like, it's the next, they're like, oh my God, things are changing. And you're right, because people do take it for granted. I mean, even when I've lived check to check, but you know what, even if you're check to check, I've never worried about being homeless. And even being homeless here is nothing like being homeless there, because you can have a home over in these countries, but it's like you're still homeless because you don't have running water, can't take a shit in your place.
Shower by bucket. I mean, you dumping like water. Like what I said earlier, your garbage supposedly it's better than 40% of the people in the free world. You don't realize it. You don't realize how lucky and blessed you are. Man, I get up every day. Sometimes I lay in my bed and I'm so grateful. First off, that you get another day. And then I look back on my life, and sometimes I'm just so blessed to have done to have this career, to have gone after and pursued it, and to have be successful at it. And I just, man, I'm filled with gratitude. Like I just got back like 6 days ago, and it just elevates your gratitude, and you look around here and you see these people flipping people, they're not happy. I'm sorry you're not happy. I really feel sorry for people because, that's the problem with cancel culture. These people are miserable and they want to make everybody else miserable. And and a lot of people are just walking around projecting their shit onto you. And all you have to do is go on YouTube and see all these fucking horrible comments, because that's what your life is sitting there and make horrible comments on people's videos or trying to create something or do something. But you're just saying your contribution to that is shitty comments below videos of people trying to, make their lives better or whatever it is. It's just, it's kind of ridiculous. It really is. I mean, you should be so fucking grateful. I mean, just, and don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a million stories out there, and a lot of people have different problems. Everybody's got problems, and nobody's fucking perfect. We all have our own issues, don't we? That everybody's trying to work through and overcome. But boy, you really just, my God, so lucky. I mean, prisons are filled with people who grew up without moms or dads, and stuff like that. And you go, I mean, my mom and dad are still married. They're still alive, thank God. And so, it makes a difference in a person's life. And you think about all these little things and all these little blessings, and and if you don't have that, it doesn't mean you have to wind up like that. You're not responsible for the shit that happened in your life, but you are responsible for fixing it and healing yourself and forgiving yourself. And you're forgiving everybody, but most importantly, forgive yourself. For
now, I know you grew up with what, 5 brothers?
Yeah, there's 5. There's 6 of us all together. 6 boys.
Aren't they all cops or detectives or something like that?
No. My dad was a detective. None of my brothers went into we never went into that line of work. All my brothers are kind of blue collar, white collar guys. They're all blue collar guys that could build a freaking house, but they also, my brother, the real estate. Now the real estate, and they own businesses, Tri-State Water Restoration, Shubert Public Adjusters. They run businesses now. They use their trades or their crafts to, my brother Johnny works at the Einstein Hospital. He's a guy that fixes up stuff at the hospital and stuff. And so they're tradesmen and blue collar guys, and then good family guys. They have families and they're all married, and they got kids and stuff. And so
how did you end up in comedy?
Well, I think it's interesting that I knew I wanted to do it when I was 9. There was something about Charlie Chaplin. I used to love Charlie Chaplin. I used to like to watch the Marx Brothers. I wanted the Three Stooges. It's funny. Like my brother Bobby played the drums. My brother Joey grew up playing guitar, and my mom would drop them off at music lessons. And then me and my mom would go down the street to a magic shop. And so I started doing magic. I got a magic kit for Christmas one year, and I started performing, and I started doing that. And my grandmother would set up these Reader's Digest, and I would cut out the laughter's the best medicine, and humor in uniform, and life in these United States. I would circle the jokes I liked, and I was working on a joke file when I was 9 and 10 years old, or things that made me laugh. And I was practicing magic, and I was doing. By the time I was 15, I was kind of an accomplished professional magician. I used to go down to there was a magic shop on Cherry Street. I took private lessons. I got pretty good. And, I had doves, I had levitation, I had an assistant. And so by the time I was 15, and then by the time I hit 18, I was going down to the Comedy Factory outlet. I went down there actually when I was about 16 or 17. I was using my brother Bobby's birth certificate to do the open mics. And after that, it was once you start doing stand-up, you go, wow, if I could just figure out a way to make a living doing this. And relatively, if you think about it, it's not like, it was just kind of like before that. You realize that I did it for about a couple of years in Philly. I a new shoemaker, did the John Barleycorns, got our friend of ours, George Sharp, and some of these guys I hung out with, Ron Gollop, Keith Robinson, George Sharp, God rest his soul. But, and you did these open mics in Philly, and I was going to go to New York, or I could go to LA. I knew if I went to New York, I was going to eventually go to LA anyway. And I went to the CAP. I went to Creative and Performing Arts High School. So my advantage in life is that I knew what I wanted to do at a real early age. And then I wasn't, I was just dumb enough to think I could do it for the rest of my life and make a living.
No. What year did you start in Philly? Because I started hitting open mics in 88 or 89. And I remember what happened was I told my mom when I graduated college in 86, I wanted to do stand-up. And I had no idea. I'm from Cherry Hill. I went to a state school in New Jersey. I had no idea. I didn't know anything about Philly. And she saw a learning annex class. And do you remember Brian McKim and Tracy Skeen?
Yes.
They were my teachers. And they sat there, and we all ended up doing an open mic at the Comedy Factory outlet. That's where I first saw you. It's when you'd broken your leg or you got in a motorcycle accident. We were all amazed that you were sitting on stage with crutches. And we're like, holy shit. You came back from LA. And we're like, oh, man, look at this dude. Like, we were just getting on stage. Like, this guy can go up on stage with crutches and kill. This bullshit. This is a damn business. But it was funny because the outlet was such a great place. And like Keith, I do Keith and I do show and all that. But I was after them. What year did you start hanging out at the outlet?
It's a good question. It's a long time ago. Early '80s, and I was running around doing. I mean, I was going up to New York. I was taking the train up to New York. I was going up. I was studying. There was a place called the Manhattan Punchline Institute. I was studying improv. A guy named Michael Golding. Michael Golding ran the improv group at the comic strip. So we would do class, and then we'd run over to the comic strip, and I'd watch Dom Herrera and guys like that. And I would go up there and watch the New York comics, and then work on my stand-up. I was trying to put, so you try to figure it out. But I was so young, you don't find your voice in stand-up until you've been doing it for like 7 to 9 years. I mean, I was like so young. My point of view changed so much. So I did it. I got to LA. I started working at the Comedy Store as a doorman. I got the runner job at the Comedy Store, and I ran into hung out with Kinison. I went on the road with Kinison, Sam Kinison. I was wound up being one of the outlaws of comedy. I toured with Sam for about 5 years and started going out. That's what I would do back in the day. Like I was on the road with Kinison, and so I would call the comedy clubs, and remember the old Comedy USA? They had a book with all the comedy listings.
Yeah.
All the comedy clubs up, and I would invite the bookers out and the owners out with VIP backstage passes. And so they would go, "Oh, we're going to go see Kinison tonight." And so they would come backstage. They would introduce some Sam and get their cars. And go, "Listen, and they'd see you in front of 6,300 people, 5,000 people, and you're just annihilating and killing." And so they go, "Yeah, come back and do our club." And I go, so I would circle back around and do all those gigs. And it was everywhere. We did 70 city tours, 50 city tours, 30 city tours, and all these markets and all these places. And so I was always, I just wanted to go on the road and make a living doing it, And and believe me, I've been everywhere 3-4 times, every little nook and cranny of this country. I mean, it was crazy. But I drove, you had the creative runs, going through these bacon and grits outpost areas in the Southeast and Northwest, all the triple runs, all the comedy clubs. I mean, I literally have been fucking everywhere. I mean, I've traveled this country extensively to the point where it seemed like you were almost like a truck driver. Got to go drop off a load of drunks and freaking, in this place and just drive it all night, get the gigs, get a gig, and you had to go to Boulder from LA to Boulder, Colorado, which is like an 18-hour drive, and just drive straight on through and just, madness, a road warrior. But I also said to myself during that time, you're either going to get better or you're going to get bitter. And I chose to get better. I mean, it was like, I know people would kill to be able to make a living doing something. I mean, this is the life, I never would get angry at it. I'm not a bitter guy at all. I root for my friends to win. I think all my friends' wins are my wins. Everybody's on their own path here, whatever your path is, and you gotta go, so I was talking to a friend of mine. This is interesting. He did DMT and had one of these epiphany moments with that's the,
what's DMT?
DMT is something your body produces naturally, but you could smoke it. And it's like this thing that only lasts like 20 minutes. But while you're in it, it seems like it's forever. It's I don't know what they call it Dimitri, but it's I'm going to pronounce it wrong. You can Google it, whatever it is, this methyl triaculate or whatever it is. But your body, it opens up your pineal gland is what it does. And you kind of cross over into this realm that you've never been into. And you can hear people talk about this DMT experience. It's actually like mushrooms on steroids, like on super performance, like it's like nothing you've ever done before. And so, but he was talking about suicide and people that commit suicide. He said it's instant karma because you can't escape your soul contract. You have a soul contract here. You have to complete your task here, and there's no getting out of it. And he said, so if you commit suicide, instant reincarnation. You got to come back and complete it. I thought that was fascinating. I've never heard it mentioned like that before, but it kind of blew my mind. It made a little bit of sense. Oh, wow, yeah. I mean, depending on what your beliefs are, I don't know, but I believe in, I don't even, at this point, I was raised Catholic. I don't think I'm a Catholic anymore for certain. I believe in a higher power. I believe in the power of the universe, and I believe in Mother Earth, and I believe in the ancient ways and healing and alternative medicine, and I believe in meditation, and I believe in yoga, and I believe you got to take care of your body. I'm like this amalgamation of all these things. I'm just trying to figure out what works to me because I've been lied to my whole life about what, you know, what it really is. And the God's not something that's outside of me. God's inside of me. And if you listen to all the Sumerian texts and all these people talk about that stuff, it literally translates, some of the stuff. The God's in here. It's you are the universe expressing itself and observing itself in whatever, and that you're a powerful being, and that you can manifest anything you want in life, and that if you learn how to pray the right way, and you can manifest in your life, and you can have the life that you want. I mean, we're really kind of powerful human beings. I think your mental prowess or your mental state of mind, if you make these decisions, your body can heal itself and all this. So I'm just kind of, I've been doing a lot of research, and also I've been doing a lot of meditation. I've seen the changes in my own life. I've seen the effects of my own life. And so, I'm so blessed and thankful and grateful, but at this point, I'm trying to figure some things out for myself. As I get older, and obviously, nobody gets out alive, I'd like to have some answers, you know what I mean? That go beyond, jumping in confessional. Forgive me, Father, if I've said it's been 3 days, what I'm saying?
It's funny. I was raised Presbyterian. Joanne's Catholic. And we were driving by the church that I went to when I was younger. And it came to me, and this is how bad religion I am. I don't know the Lord's Prayer. In fact, when we got married 5 years ago, we couldn't get married in the Catholic church because I was divorced. But I was sitting there and I was like lip syncing it, man. I didn't know the words. I was looking around at people.
The Lord, is that the Our Father?
Yeah, I didn't know it. And
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
I didn't know
it will be done. I could say it in Spanish. Padre nuestro que estás, Padre nuestro que estás. It's been a while, but yeah, but it's funny because I still do say my rosary. I do say sometimes.
Do you go to church?
I don't go to church. You know where I go? I go sit on the beach and I watch the sun come up. Sometimes in the morning, I'll go when the sun's coming up at 6:17. So I'll get up about 5:45. I'll have a cup of espresso. I'll drink some key lime with some cayenne and some honey, and then I go out to the beach and I just sit there and I just do some breathing and I break out my rosary and I say my rosary because that's what I believe. It's funny. Einstein, when Einstein was touring and giving lectures at universities, one of the questions he got asked the most was, do you believe in God? And Einstein would always say, I believe in the God of Spinoza, Baruch de Spinoza, one of the great rationalist thinkers of the 17th century, him and Descartes. But he would say, I'll pull it up. It's fascinating. You can look at it, but I think I have it right here in my notes to give you an idea of he goes, Einstein would say, here it is. He said, I believe in the God of Spinoza. He goes, stop praying. What I want you to do is go into the world and enjoy your life. I want you to sing. I want you to have fun. And I want you to enjoy everything I've made for you. Stop going to those dark, cold temples that you built for yourself, saying they are my house. My house is the mountains. It's in the woods. It's in the rivers, the lakes, the beaches. That's where I live, and that's where I express my love for you. Stop blaming me for your miserable life. I never told you there was anything wrong with you, or that you were a sinner, or that sexuality was a bad thing. Sex is a gift I've given you, in which you can express your love, your ecstasy, your joy. So don't blame me for everything they made you believe. Stop alleging sacred scriptures that have nothing to do with me. If you can't read me in the sunrise and the landscape and the look of your friends and your son's eyes, you will find me in no book. Stop asking me, will you tell me how to do my job? Stop being scared of me. I don't judge or criticize you, nor get angry or bothered. I am pure love. Stop asking for forgiveness. There's nothing to forgive. If I made you, I filled you with passions, limitations, pleasures, feelings, needs, inconsistencies, free will. How can I blame you if you respond to something that I put in you? How can I punish you for being the way you are if I'm the one who made you? Do you think I could create a place to burn all my children who behave badly for the rest of eternity? What kind of God would do that? Respect your peers. Do what you want to do. And don't do what you want for yourself. All I ask you, pay attention in your life, and then alertness is your guide. My beloved, Life is not a test, not a step on the way, not a rehearsal nor a prelude to a paradise. Life is the only thing here and now, and that's all you need. I have set you absolutely free. No prizes or punishments, no sins, no virtues. No one carries a marker. No one keeps a record. You're absolutely free to create your life, heaven and hell. So I could tell you, I can't tell you if there's anything after this, but what I can tell you, I'll give you this tip: live as though there's not, as if this is the only chance you get to enjoy, to love, to exist. So if there's nothing after this, then you will have enjoyed the opportunity I gave you, and there it is. Rest assured that I won't ask you if you behaved right or wrong. I'll ask you, did you like it? Did you have fun? What did you enjoy the most? What did you learn? Stop believing me. Believing is assuming, guessing, imagining. I don't want you to believe in me. I want you to believe in you. I want you to feel me in you when you kiss your beloved, when you tuck your little girl in, when you caress your dog, when you bathe in the sea. Stop praising me. What kind of egomaniac God do you think I am? I'm bored of being praised. I'm tired of being thanked. Feeling grateful? Prove it by taking care of yourself, your health, your relationships, the world. Express your joy. That's the way to praise me. Stop complicating things and repeating as they paraclete what they made you believe about me. What do you need more miracles for? So many explanations. The only thing is for sure is that you're here now, that you are alive. The world is full of wonders. That's Spinoza. Anyway, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent, but
if you got someone on stage behind you with arms, that shit would kill.
Yeah. Do arms with that. But anyway, I came across that, and I thought, well, that makes a lot of sense. I don't believe in organized religion, and I don't believe there's I believe, look, heaven and hell is what it is. I mean, you look at all those people in Kensington, Kensington, Allegheny Avenue there in Philly, they're all in that trank. They're like zombies. They're zombies. You made a choice for hell, and you know what I mean? And so it is a choice. You got to get up every morning and decide to be happy. That's your choice. Get up and smile. Be grateful for your fucking life. Please be grateful for your life. Learn how to cook for yourself. Find joy. Fill your head with beauty. Go bathe in the sea. Go take your shoes off and put them in the sand. Sit there and enjoy. And it's the little things, man. It really is. It's the little things, spending time with, your family and your friends and having laughs, man. I mean, that's all I could say. I mean, that's where I'm at in my life. And I've had a great life, not always filled, there's ups and downs. And so, but I'm grateful for the life I have, even to this day,
Well, when did you start getting into acting? Because I know Don't Suck is out on video now, but I know you were in action.
Yeah. Don't Suck is out. It's out on streaming. You get it on Amazon. It's also on Apple TV. It's with Matt Rife. It's really, my friend Rick D'Elia wrote it, and R.J. Collins directed it. Russell Peters is in it. Jamie Kennedy is great in it. There's so it's a great, fun little movie. I mean, you'll laugh out loud, and it's really well done. It's high concept, but it's really very well done. And so that's out. I also did a movie called Topper, which was just the Newport Beach Film Festival. And I just heard the other day that that's getting a theatrical release as well. Another film I did with Hopper Penn, Sean Penn's son, called Puppy Love, with the Cowboy Cerrone and Roseanne Arquette and Michael Madsen and Wayne Newton's in it. I mean, but that is also getting a theatrical release as well. Hollywood's in trouble now. So
everyone's saying that. Everyone said there's no pilot season. There's no projects. Like I talked to a lot of actors on my other podcast.
Well, dude, they just laid off. They laid off 2,500 people. Like Paramount just they're thinking about selling the backlot. Warner Brothers just laid off 1,500 people. I mean, it is bad. People are just leaving. I mean, look, that's what happens when you get a guy like, dude. They threw $25 billion into the homeless crisis and all. Nobody knows where the money went. Nobody can tell you where the money went. And the homelessness is going up by 50%. Like, they're destroying these cities, bro. I mean, I hate to, but it's just, it's you took $1 billion industry and you fucking ruined it from the inside out. You're doing all this fucking woke shit. Nope, you're catering to 3% of the population. You wonder why no one's going to the fucking movies anymore? Why do you make a movie like fucking Godfather or Casino or
Go? Go. You were Go.
Yeah, the movie Go I was in.
Tell me about Go. Tell me about Go, because that was a great movie with Scott Wolf, Jay Moore. William Fichtner.
William Fichtner was in it. Timmy Oxenfant was in it.
It was Doug Lyman, right? That was Doug Lyman from Entourage.
Yeah. Doug Lyman directed it. Great. Yeah. So
He played a bouncer.
yeah, he played a bouncer strip club, get shot in the arm, and then we go back. We're going to shoot the other guy in the arm to get even, so we get a safe face. But it's one of those post-urban teen drama flicks that came out in '99, opposite The Matrix. The movie did pretty well, reasonably, because I don't think they spent a lot of money on it. I think it was like a $5 to $10 million movie. I think it's going on to make more than that. But it was a cool cult classic. It's a cult classic for certain. And that was really like my big break. It was a big break. And I had a development deal at the time, but it didn't look like the development deal was going anywhere. So I got this movie, and then I went on to get Coyote Ugly, 1 Hour Photo, and do these films. I mean, look, I was up for one of the cast regulars on a series called Average Joe, which just got picked up for my buddy Rob Colin, who's right, and that's on its second season. That just got picked up, but that's a show that's getting shot in Atlanta. Believe it or not, 60 to 80 productions are being shot in Atlanta, but that's a great show, man. It's such a, just that I had the opportunity to read for it and be considered for that, I look at that as a win, because at the time I had left Los Angeles. But all these movies I got when I was out of LA, I auditioned more in my spare bedroom here before the strike, and it was pretty busy. And then after the strike, it just, man, if you're making movies people want to see, you got to look at Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise did Maverick, Top Gun, and that movie made $1 billion before they even released it in China. That's unheard of. That means people went back and saw that movie 3 and 4 times, and it was worth seeing 3 and 4 times. That movie is the exact reason you go to the fucking movies. Look, tell me a story about characters I care about with great dialogue and action. That's why I used to go to the movies. Those Chuck Norris movies, those Bruce Lee movies, the fucking Godfather, Braveheart. Make cinema like that, and people will go back to the movie theaters. It's like, how am I supposed to feel sorry for Sony Music? We're losing money on our music. Who made the technology that allows people to steal the fucking music, Sony? You take dumb fucking, how am I supposed to be for a company that manufactures the stuff that allows you to make bootlegs and copy and make CDs? You know what I'm saying? Allow everybody to steal the music anyway.
So let me ask you something. You've been in this business for a long time, and you've had success. But, I don't care who it is. I have friends who had a TV show for 4 years. My friend Lombardo Boyar, he's on the show called Murder in the First. It's on TNT or TBS. Going good.
Yeah.
4 years, buys a house. Buys a house. He does. Network changes hands. Series canceled. Now he's screwed with his house payment. There's ups and downs. How do you, you said your career's been up and down, but how do you adjust to the down? Because now given you have stand-up, so you can always have money coming in.
It's
just not acting. You can go out there. But is there any times you sit there and go, I just don't want to go on the road right now. I'd rather just hang out, but you have to?
Well, yeah, but I love doing stand-up comedy, man. That's my first thing. That's like, I've always loved this. I'm a real stand-up comedian, man. I got to tell you, to me, it's like breathing. To me, it's like breathing. If I can't go on stage for 2 weeks, I got to get on stage. I love it. And I can act, and I studied acting, and I went to, John Homa and Daryl Hickman, and I studied with Karen West, and I studied with some of these great acting teachers. I put time in. I learned my craft. One of the best things to learn is when you get on set. That's the greatest teacher ever, because a lot of these actors are very generous, and they'll talk to you about, like that guy who played the Dane in Miller's Crossing, J.E. Freeman. I used to call him Screaming Freeman. He played my dad in Go, and he gave me some great acting tips. If you're open to learning, like everything's a life lesson. You can learn from everybody, And so, but yeah, I really do love acting, but acting seems to unless you're I mean, I remember it's so funny. This a couple of years ago. I was doing this movie where there was a lot of shooting dates, and it took place, and it just happened to coincide with my touring schedule, and so I was going to have to cancel about $6,000 worth of work to do the movie, and I wanted to do the movie, believe me, but the timing was off, and they were only offering. I said, listen, I can't cancel $6,000 worth of stand-up work, and you're going to give me this. I mean, you got to meet me a little bit halfway. And I wound up negotiating it, and they met me. They came up and they said, all right, 5. And I said, that's fair enough. I could lose $1,000 to do the movie. I'll figure it out. We'll work around it. And I did. But I mean, it's like, but in what alternate universe can I make more money doing stand-up comedy than I can doing a television or a TV show or a movie? It's because, it all happened during the first SAG strike, when the AFTRA went in and cut the knees off. They were sister unions. And at one time, there was 42 to 43 SAG shows on the air, and I think 11 shows were AFTRA. And then that the actor strike happened, and AFTRA went in and just said, fuck you, SAG, and cut the knees off them, and came up with these shitty contracts that made it impossible for anybody to make a living, to go and even just get your insurance. It was impossible. I mean, they had to merge unions in order to try to get it back to where it was. But, these people, like, first off, they're all actors running the unions. They're not business people. Like, what are you going to do? Act like you know how to run a fucking union? You don't know fucking shit. You're an actor. You play fucking coach. You were playing a basketball coach on TV. Do you really know what, how to, and it's gradually gone down over time. I mean, I worked in the golden age. I mean, I've worked so much, I got a pension from Screen Actors Guild. You know what I mean? I have an actual pension. So, but boy, did they fuck it up. And they continue to fuck. I mean, now it's, they want you to come in for one day and shoot you out and top of show, not even top of show guest star. I mean, that's doing his King Queen episodes, that was like, go in there and make $4,500 a week. Just, go in and just go for a table reading and all through the week, and then Friday you tape. It was, you can make a living, you get your insurance in 3 weeks, and it's just an industry that first off, they chased the industry out of California because nobody's filming in California anyway. I mean, some things, but all the TV shows are after shows now. So they're not going to pay commissions. They're going to pay, not commissions. They don't get residuals. They don't get residuals. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Well, commercials, all the commercials are non-union now. I auditioned for a Little Caesar commercial when I was in LA 7 years ago. It was non-union. I'm like, how is Little Caesars non-union? Because I was SAG eligible. I never joined because that wasn't my path. But I was like, these commercials are now where a guy used to book a national commercial. He can make $100,000 a year. Now they're going to make $3,500. And after 3 months, maybe another $2,000. It has really hurt.
Well, that was the after contract. The after contract heavily favored the producers. That's just what they did. They literally sold everybody out, and then they all switched over to after contracts. And they're getting richer, but none of the actors are able to make a living doing it. But it is what it is. I mean, it's, who cares anyway? I mean, at one point I used to give a fuck. I don't care anymore. I mean, I just want to make my living doing what I love to do, which is stand up. If I get an opportunity to act, I'll go in and I'll fucking knock the bottom out of it. The two movies I did that they're coming out. One's called Puppy Love. It's really, I like doing those avant-garde, offbeat things. You know what I mean? I mean, it'd be great to do a studio film, but the things I get are these independent films. I love independent film. I'm not going to go see a movie like Avengers. I'm sorry if you like it. It doesn't do anything for me. It's fucking make-believe. But I do like a good, great dialogue and a character-driven story that like offbeat, like Leaving Las Vegas, or
I bet you like Hollywood Shuffle.
Yeah, well, no, I did like Hollywood Shuffle.
I love that movie. I saw it at the Ritz. I saw it at the Ritz 5 in Center City. When it came out.
Yeah, well, Robert Townsend wrote and directed that, and Robert Townsend was a guy who went to the Yale Drama School with Lewis Black and David Allen Greer, and Robert was doing stand-up, and Lewis Black and David Allen Greer went with him one time to watch him do stand-up, and I think they got the bug, and that's when they started doing it. Some to that extent, where David Allen Greer told me the story, but it's so crazy that I mean, I had an agent tell me this. I told me this, like I was becoming an older white guy, and they go, yeah, they don't really even want to see you anymore. I go, okay, that's fine. I'm going to do concentrated. I mean, not that I care, but I mean, I have friends of mine that are writers, and I'm talking about these guys are real writers. Guy's written 7 novels. Most people have 1 screenplay. They try to sell it for 20 years. This guy's got 20 screenplays that are freaking amazing. I've read them. He always lets me read them. And they're great. They don't even want to see him because he's an older white guy. I mean, like, you know, I'm sorry, but now all that shit's backfiring on Hollywood. You've destroyed yourself from the inside out. All the streamers, all the woke shits just fucking falling on deaf ears. That's not why I watch TV. You know, that's not why I go to the movies. I don't go to get a lecture about what a fucking horrible human being I am. Like, what the fuck do you know about my life?
I want to say something real quick to you. Kinnison. Okay, you know, it's funny because I work with Mitchell Walters in Fort Lauderdale.
God rest.
They're all gone.
God rest.
Him and LeBeau were gone, and Alice Stevens still around. But
yeah,
how did you end up hooking up with that clan? Because you were younger. Didn't you ride your motorcycle up on stage or something? There's that classic story at the comedy store.
Yeah, he rode the motorcycle up on stage. I drove Kinnison off stage on my motorcycle. On a Monday night, it was late. Well, went out on Sunset Boulevard, and I come up, made the U-turn, and a death grip on my roof. Like, we just drove right through the building. I could have mowed anybody down. We're gonna get hit by a car, but you know the agents were with us, and sometimes and after that, Kinnison freaking loved my balls. You know, you're a fucking son of a bitch, man. You crazy motherfucker. And so I don't see him for 2 weeks because he goes on the road. And I go backstage at the comedy store. I hear, Jimmy Shubert, get over here, you crazy motherfucker. And it's Kinnison. And he's standing with Lorraine Newman and Randy Quaid from Saturday Night Live. Because Sam had started like getting that, you know, that kind of following of these celebrities that would come in and watch him. And he told him the story. And I didn't realize how cool it was until I heard him tell it, which was fucking awesome. But, you know, then I kind of got like, you know, the arm pat in. He's a friend of ours. He's not a friend of mine. He's a friend of ours. And then, and these guys kind of adopted me. You know, I was this, you know, then I had my accident. And I was like the mascot. And I was still doing stand-up, and I was still working. And I never quit, and I never went home. And I still kept working at all my goals and my dreams. So I almost lost my leg. That was a later accident that happened later on. But I kept going. I kept going for it. I thought it was a test in life. That if I ever got tested, this was certainly a test too. How bad do you want what you want in your life? And so I wasn't going to give up. I wasn't going to quit. I wasn't fucking going anywhere. And I continued to work on it. And that I think a lot of people just respected that resilience and that grit. I think they call it that grit and that chutzpah, where you know you could have gone home. I wanted to go home, but I just kept going. And I had friends, my buddy Noodles Levenstein, let me crash his couch, and another friend of mine, Kevin West, who was king of the commercials back then. This guy got a Clio Award for his commercials, and then I wound up staying at Crest Hill with my leg, and Mitzi, let me stay there because, that's where old comics stayed at that point. I was staying up there with Mark Maron, and that's when Kinnison would come up to the house, and chop out lines. It was a party house. It was the house behind the comedy store. It was crazy, man. It was insane. It was a magical time, because I was attending what I refer to as comedy college, and it really was. We had to watch about Arsenio Hall, Gary Shandling, Eddie Murphy, Rob Williams, Richard Pryor. These guys come in, and you got to see these guys every night. Pryor would come in, you watch him go 5 minutes into an hour. You got to Carlin come in, do shows there. It was magnificent. And you got to have a front row seat for all that. And I studied it. I would sit back there and just study it. And because you could learn as much watching a bad comedian as you could watching a great comedian. And I just studied it. And I read history. I read autobiographies about every comedian, from Jackie Gleason to Sammy Shore to who's the guy? Ernie Kovacs, and all these comedy autobiographies. I just immersed myself in it. And I really didn't give a fuck about anything else, about becoming the best stand-up comedian I was capable of being. And so I work on it. I ate it. I breathed it. I slept it. And I hung out with a bunch of fucking crazy people while I was doing it. And I enjoyed the fuck out of it. And it was a magical time. And it's more magical now that I look back on it. I go, man, that was a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. And I didn't realize how lucky I was at the time, but I certainly do now. And I got to go on stage. There's a picture of me with Rob Williams and Sam Kinison on stage in the original roof, and we're improvising. I mean, I just had balls, and I wasn't scared of nothing, and I was just going to do it. I was going to do it whether if by hook or by crook, and I wasn't taking no for an answer. And that's just but that's the Philly thing, it's the Philly thing.
How long do you think you'll keep doing this though? I mean, do you want to sit there and be 80 and on the road? Because some people, it's once you perform, it's hard to get out. But I mean, or will you just keep performing till you die? Here's Shubert dies on stage.
I'm still having a great fucking time. I still love to do it. I told you, man, I'm a real comedian. This is like breathing to me. Being able to go up on stage and to kill an audience for like 55 minutes, just bang, bang, and these well-crafted jokes and bits. Come on, what's better than that? It's good work if you can get beats digging fucking ditches. I mean, don't get me wrong, bro. I got a pension. I got Social Security. I put money away. I've saved my, I take care of my dad. I mean, I'm not in a good place. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to do it because I enjoy it. I mean, eventually I may age out of the clubs and wind up doing a couple cruise ships per month, or wind up doing casinos or stuff like that. I mean, I've traveled internationally. I've done comedy in Hong Kong. I've traveled all throughout. I've been to Afghanistan. I did shows for the armed forces. I've performed in Israel, and Ireland, and Germany, and and all over the fucking world. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I still good, man.
I know, you're a great act. I'm saying down the road, but no, you're a great act. Let me ask you. I'm going to give one final question to you. When you look back on your career, what's a two-parter? One, what do you think is your crowning achievement in your career? And two, what are you proud of at this point in your life? What are you proud of? But what first, the crowning achievement, and what are you proud of in your life? It could be comedy, it could be this, but crowning achievement. What do you think as Jimmy Shubert's crowning achievement in his world of entertainment?
Solid question. What I'm most proud of is surviving. I mean, I've been through the fucking ringer here, drugs, fucking alcohol addiction, just fucking, I almost lost my leg, and I've had both my knees replaced, and I had a summer of, I was just eating eggs because I couldn't afford anything else, and I didn't lose my fucking mind. I kept working, and I kept diligently working. I'm proud of it, and also I think I'm proud that I'm a good person. I continue to help people. I continue to make phone calls and help other younger people get opportunities and help other people, give people advice. I'm proud that I'm not a fucking scumbag. I never root against anybody. I root for everybody. I don't care. I don't care. My path is my path. Okay. I've had I'm happy for my friend's successes. I didn't sell my fucking soul, which is probably, I didn't go out to Hollywood and become a fucking scumbag or a fucking user or, I got a little lost along the way. The good news is I'm way ahead of schedule, but I'm proud that I'm a good human being. I like making people laugh. First off, I know the devil hates the sound of laughter, okay? Because I know what I do. I stopped thinking about you're not just saying funny things. Because when people are laughing, especially the way I make them laugh, it's like this, people are going, when they're laughing like that, that they're furthest away from the thing that hurts them in their life. And everybody's got pain. And you get to touch people, you get to move people, and you get to it's cathartic for people. It's healing, especially after the last 3 years. I've been going around and go, God, man, I forgot how much I needed to laugh. I haven't laughed like that in so fucking long. Oh my God. Yeah, it's not just saying funny things. You have this gift. And if you take it seriously, first off, the artist is nothing without the gift, but the gift is certainly nothing without the work. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud that I've been able to make a living for 40 years in fucking show business, which is an incredibly tough business to do. I've had a lot of friends drop out and quit and can't, pay the bills. They got to go do something else. So yeah, I have a tenacity and a grit that just allows me to keep going. And because I'm blessed, and I know that I'm blessed and highly favored, that I'm just grateful for all of it. I really am. So within that, you could find what things I'm proud of and the things that the accomplishment is that this will be my 6th fucking hour special, my 7th fucking CD. I keep working, I keep going on. Look, it's just, I'm happy that I'm still able to do it.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you came by. Now, your website, good website. You get all your info on there.
Yeah, jimmyshubert.com.
And now, Clown Shoes, you think will be released when?
We're going to put it on you. I'm going to just put it on YouTube. We're just going to give it away. I'm going to give it away. And it's like really kind of a love letter to the fans. Thank you for coming out. It seems to be the new business model anyway. When it's out, I'll put a link to it up on my jimmyshubert.com. I'll put a link to it up it'll be running on my website. I'll put clips up on my Instagram, which is also Jimmy Shubert. You go Jimmy Shubert Comedian on Facebook, or I can't follow me personally because I got 5,000 friends and I can't add anymore. But you can follow me, but I'll make the announcements across all the social media. I don't do Twitter anymore because they're gonna get banned. They're gonna ban free speech. They just canceled it in Brazil. God forbid any of the truth gets out. We can't have that. You got to believe our lies. But yeah, it'll be on across all the social media platforms. It'll be a big announcement. I just wanted to tease it. We just finished doing the credit sequence, maybe do a little color correction. I just watched my copy on the big screen television. It looks fantastic. It's kind of like, I used to watch those. We used to watch those comedy specials where they had a little intro, So
Yeah.
Shoes. You just see these clown shoes coming down the street, from the front, the back, the side. They turn, they go in, and they do that. And you walk off, and I take off the makeup. I take off the clown makeup, and I take off the shoes, and then I go on stage. I take off the little button. It says clown plainclothes division, and I throw that on the thing, and then you go out to do stand-up comedy. So it's like I'm a clown in everyday life, not when I do stand-up. You know what I mean? It's like
that's
juxtapositioning. I just thought, a clown plainclothes division, but I take all that stuff off when I go do stand-up.
And that's on Instagram. People, go follow Jimmy on Instagram. There's some great clips. You can follow me on all the socials. It's Steve Cooper. I want to thank Jimmy Corhan for inviting me down to Comedy Trainwreck. This is my first show. We got some great guests coming up in the next few weeks. So we're just going to talk comedy like we did with Jimmy. So Jimmy, thank you. And
hey man, thanks for having me, bro. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're well. I'm glad you're happy. I watched your other podcasts. You have great guests on. Coop Talk. And I think I did one a long time ago. We did that in the building.
I have a picture of you. We're in the old studio.
I still got my guys to act.
So he's got there. So people, go check out Jimmy Shubert. Yeah,
I was going to say, what do you sign out? But stay there.
People, so thank you. Come back and see us next week. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.
Cooper's Comedy Corner.